The Fargo Five. I'm Conrad Fargo. We are here with Zoe Apsey. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Who's running for the Park Board Commissioner. Hello, Zoe.
Hello.
That's a position that you're going to share with one other person? So there's only 2 Park Board Commissioners, or are there only 2 spots open?
There's only 2 spots open.
How many commissioners are there total?
There'll be 5 total.
5 total.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So going to be shaking things up. Do you know the other 3? Or do you know them personally at all? Or have you met with them?
Yeah. Well, I know one personally, but then I've had I've talked with the other 2 throughout this process.
And what kind of a time commitment is that going to be? Like, as far as, like, how many hours per week are you spending being the commissioner? You don't even know. You've just written a blank check to the future.
Yeah, here we are.
Man.
I think, there's one board meeting a month, but then I think it's how much you want to invest in it and how much time you want to put towards attending other meetings, meeting with people, being part of that process. So I think it varies for everybody.
Very cool. I watch back myself. I don't want to say very cool anymore. I say that too often. Now, you viewer are going to hear me say very cool all the time. That's my way of saying, when I move to the next segment. I got to just stop doing that. We're doing the Fargo Fresh segment. Just so you guys know, that's a known, right? That's also something I got to start doing is you got to open the segment telling people what to expect. It's the Fresh segment. They got to know because they're opening it up on YouTube and they're hitting subscribe right away just to be friendly and nice. And then what am I even watching? It's the Fargo Fresh, where we talk about the YouTube algorithm. Okay, so I do a little research on my guest ahead of time to find out about what they got going on, what YouTube gives you is the back end, so you can find out what people are searching for and not getting results.
Interesting.
It is really interesting because if I'm talking with a business owner or a politician and you're wanting to reach more people, well, what is it that people are going to YouTube and searching for surrounding your industry? I think that's kind of interesting to kind of run through those.
Yeah.
The problem is sometimes it's nothing and sometimes it's only esoteric things.
Okay.
So I typed in municipal judge since the election is what we're doing. Nothing came up. I typed in city commission. We got 2 for city commission, but that's Miami and Pequot, which I don't think you know anything about those.
Don't ask me those questions.
But those are the only ones where stuff is coming up. I type in park board. And I thought, maybe we got something interesting there. No, dog park board game. That's not even the park board. That's just a board game about dog parks, right? So, okay. So then I was racking my brain. I was like, well, I want to type in something. I typed in local election, and now that was huge, off the charts.
Okay.
People are going to the YouTubes,
I guess,
and looking for. There are people who are interested in local elections. And I think,
love it.
Well, and when you reach out to me and you're like, I'd like to be on the show, or what does it take to get on the show? I had already been seeing your signs everywhere. It works. So local elections, I think I don't know what it is. There's the intrigue of like my sign is on people's yards. And so I think yours and maybe a couple others, three others that I can think of that really pull out to me. But yours are really like in the top 4 of signs that I'm actually seeing out there. So it's really neat that people are looking for local election stuff. So they wanted local election news, and local election results. So you are just going to get more Fargo famous from here out.
Oh gosh, that's exciting.
Do you have a YouTube channel at all yourself?
I do not.
You really should, so that you can keep people aboard. Because I'll bet you the commission doesn't have.
They do record them, and you can watch them back. I guess I could share them.
But whatever there is going on in the park board itself, whatever it is that they're working on. I mean, I'm sure they have. What does the park board do?
So they oversee the park district. So, and something fun that I learned, Valley Senior Services, so the organization that does the Meals on Wheels.
Yeah,
they're actually under the park district.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It just happened. Yeah. Or not just happened, but
I volunteered for them for a minute and a half.
It's so fun.
When I first got into real estate. Yeah. Well, because before that I delivered pizza. And I was like, what can I do to help? And I was like, well, I know how to deliver things because I delivered pizzas for 12 years.
Yeah,
right?
you know.
So I said, let's do Meals on Wheels. And I'm desperately trying. But the thing is, if I don't print it out and have it right in front of me, I can't remember people's names. So I'm trying to remember who's the lady over there who's like the manager, because she was awesome. I'm so bad at names. Okay. All right. Anyhow. So you guys could be doing all that stuff on YouTube videos.
Yeah, that's so true. Highlighting the different, they do a lot of collaboration and partnership, and something I'm really passionate about. And
Yeah.
there was a birding festival a couple weekends ago at Forest River. Learned how to bird. So anyway, they do events, they do programs, they do youth sports, they facility upkeep. I mean, if you haven't been to their new sports complex, it's way down south, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, the park board really is. When I I didn't tell you this, I'm actually on the board of the Northern Plains Garden Botanical Society.
Oh,
So actually, we do a lot of stuff with the park board. So probably you and I, not going to be the last we see of each other.
love
So
that.
I'm glad that I brought you on the show and I got you all buttered up, and obviously, hopefully, you know,
No.
that's what happens when you become a politician. Now people are wanting to
Favors.
favors. That's how it works. So I was telling you before we started the show here that the Fargo Fresh has kind of always been the segment that's in flex. It used to actually be the fourth segment. Now it's the third, though, because I do like those YouTube algorithms, although they don't always give us a lot to talk about. Sometimes I have fresh takes, a hot take, right? And I'm not dropping this on you, too hard and fast. I asked you ahead of time. I told my wife I was going to do it, and she's like, well, you better ask her first before I don't just drop that on her. And I had something, and since you are technically a politician, I had a thought about the nature of democracy. And we are a democracy here in this great nation of the United States of America, right? There's something really interesting that happens where winning seems to take away a lot of your power. A lot of power and influence actually goes down. And so, because what I realized, and again, I'm not passing judgment and I'm not trying to get political here, but think about Biden supporters in the Biden campaign during Trump's time in office, and then all the passion that they had and all the support and excitement they had for Biden. And then think about where all that passion and support went after Biden won. It seems that has almost evaporated. And that's a pattern you see a lot in democratic things, where actually when you win, all your support kind of seems to go away. I don't think that's going to happen on the park board, but on a larger scale. Why do you think that is? Or do you have anything to?
Yeah, that's a big question. And I would thinking of winning anything, right? You've won, you have it, and you kind of just are content. Or, you're like, well, I don't have to do anything right now.
Yeah.
And then it sneaks up on you. And then you're like, scrambling to be like, wait, we have to get out there. We have to kind of re-energize that, that fight, that advocacy.
Well, and it's kind of, sometimes when you see something in a system, and democracy is just another system, you have to ask yourself, is that a bug or a feature? Right? Because that happens over and over again. It's almost, whoever has the greatest numbers gets satisfied and left alone. It's almost that feature of democracy seems to almost support the minority by making them the louder one, because the majority, who naturally would be able to push things their way, kind of gets satisfied that, well, we won the election, we can go away now, and you can have...
Yeah, and I think, too, we have to make sure people know about voting days and what to vote on, and the bills that are on
Definitely.
That education piece and awareness and knowing, everyone should vote. And,
Absolutely.
It's vital for that, because I think some people, it's a lot to think about and a lot to read up on, and if you don't have the time or the ability, you might feel like, well, I don't even know where to start.
I think you should definitely, if you're going to vote, you should be educated on it.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good take there as well. We are going to move from here into the Fargo frequently asked questions, so don't go nowhere.